Just ahead, remembering a Rochester musician and teacher who received special honors for his dedication and talent. Plus, today, the UW Board of Regents is meeting to talk about next steps following the firing of the chancellor at UWL. And playing it safe when ringing in a new year. Your news at noon starts now.
Live from your local news leader, this is KTTC News.
Good afternoon, I'm Jess Abrahamson. While New York prepares to drop the ball and ring in a new year, the city's police say there are security concerns ahead of that big celebration. NBC's Stephanie Gosk reports from Times Square.
On New Year's Eve, there will be the security people see, things like barricades, counterterrorism units, and sanitation trucks blocking the streets. There will also be security people do not see, the plainclothes officers, cameras, and other types of surveillance. There was a big meeting at police headquarters on Thursday. Police say that there is no credible threat, but they do have concerns that the war in Gaza has increased the possibility that an event like this could be a target. They are most concerned about lone wolf attacks as well as protesters. There have been demonstrations in recent days where there have been scuffles with police. There are similar security concerns in other large cities around the country like Boston and Chicago and in Las Vegas, where they're expecting 500,000 people in the Strip. There have also been the festivities here in Times Square. Today, they will be testing the confetti. 75 pounds will be dropped, nothing compared to the 3,000 pounds that will fall on New Year's Eve. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News in Times Square.
And as we prepare to bid farewell to 2023, local law enforcement want everyone to be able to return home safely. According to the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office, 49 people have died on our roads from alcohol-impaired driving between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day from 2017 to 2021. Toward Zero Deaths coordinator Michelle Ness says that's an average of 10 people suffering preventable deaths each year on Minnesota roads. She recommends planning ahead with a sober ride home before heading to any gathering.
Get a sober ride. There's plenty of cab services. If someone is hosting a holiday party, we just ask that they be responsible as well and make sure they line up sober rides for their guests. Take keys if they need to, offer rides or allow them to stay at their place. We're just really hoping that people just help each other out.
If you or someone you know needs a sober ride, you can always reach out to Safe Rides in Rochester, and that's a designated driver service. We do have their contact information on our website, kttc.com. And so as we head into another holiday weekend, let's get the latest on the weather. David Burgett is joining us from out on the weather patio. Hi, David.
Hi, Jess. Yeah, so we are going to be set up for a rather milder holiday weekend in terms of our temperatures, to say the least. But we are tracking a bit of snow, which I'll get to a little bit later in the forecast. But we're seeing some clearing in terms of the cloud coverage, at least downtown here and a little bit at Lake City at the moment, where we're seeing a lot of those overcast gray stratus clouds typically we see in the winter over CC Heights in Rochester. Those will be sticking with us for a little bit more this afternoon before we get some clearing, but that cloud coverage is keeping us just at 31 degrees, right below freezing here in Rochester, and we're seeing a little bit of blue peeking through the clouds there. So we are going to be seeing temperatures around the region into the mid to lower 30s and 28 there for the lowest temperature in Dodge Center there in Dodge County. As we go through today, we are going to be seeing some relatively calmer winds around the single digits for us, not peaking into the double digits at all, but a lot of that cloud coverage we can see overhead now in Rochester. It's going to be kind of with us through much of the afternoon hours, and we are going to be seeing a cold front that'll move through our region for tomorrow, bringing us a chance for snow. So looking ahead, we will be pretty much clear for the rest of today, besides a few clouds and temperatures into the mid-30s. I'll break down that chance for snow this coming weekend in my full forecast just ahead.
Okay, thank you, David. We'll see you soon. A scam alert from Rochester police. A Rochester woman lost thousands after following what she thought was a helpful tip from a friend. The 83-year-old woman says she was contacted by someone who appeared to be a friend through Facebook Messenger. That person said he made $10,000 through a workers' compensation benefit program and told the woman she should see if she could qualify. The woman reached out to the contact information she was given. She was told she qualified and followed the instructions she was given. She first sent the scammer a $1,000 Apple prepaid gift card. Later, she sent payments through the digital payment network Zelle. In all, the woman lost more than $12,000. Police say it's possible the woman's friend's Facebook page was hacked. Rochester police continue to urge extreme caution if someone asks you to buy a gift card. The Minnesota Department of Health is taking action following an ongoing situation at a care center in Red Wing. On December 21st, the Minnesota Department of Health was granted a temporary order establishing receivership of Bayview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center in Red Wing from Ramsey County District Court. A representative from MDH says the department believes the situation created an immediate threat to residents' health and safety. This came after a number of instances of failing to meet financial obligations, which included employee payroll. We're currently working to gather more information about the situation, so look for the latest right here tonight on KTTC. Now, continuing coverage about what may have led to the termination of UW La Crosse Chancellor Joe Gao, the Board of Regents is meeting again today to talk about possible litigation, as well as the search process for the next chancellor. Deshal Menzel has more on the story.
University of Wisconsin-La Crosse Chancellor Joe Gao says he was fired from his role after the UW Board of Regents learned he and his wife produced and appeared in pornographic videos. Gao and his wife star in a YouTube channel called Sexy Healthy Cooking, in which the couple cooks meals with adult film actors. In response, former Chancellor Gao said, "My wife and I live in a country where we have a First Amendment. We're dealing with consensual adult sexuality. The regents are overreacting. They're certainly not adhering to their own commitment to free speech or the First Amendment." They also have a page with the same name on X, formerly known as Twitter, in which the description states, "Passionate plant-powered couple cooking, conversing, and shooting with top adult video stars. Visit our loyal fans and OnlyFans sites for fully explicit scenes." Universities of Wisconsin President Jay Rothman and Regent President Karen Walsh issued statements saying the regents had learned of specific conduct by Gao that subjected the university to significant reputational harm. Rothman called Gao's actions abhorrent, while Walsh says we are alarmed and disgusted by his actions. Gao also took heavy criticism in 2018 for inviting adult film actor Nina Hartley, who has appeared on the cooking show as well, to speak at UW La Crosse about free speech and adult films. As a tenured faculty member, Gao has been placed on paid administrative leave, but Rothman says a complaint has been filed asking that his tenured status be reviewed. An outside law firm will also be investigating the matter. UWL Provost and Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Betsy Morgan, has been named Interim Chancellor.
Today stands to be another of the busiest days at airports across the country this season, and they will be even busier over the weekend. Travelers are returning home after the Christmas rush. The TSA is expecting to screen more than 2.6 million people at airport security checkpoints across the country today. The FAA says the busiest day will be tomorrow, with more than 48,000 flights expected. New information has surfaced on the Chinese spy balloon that swept through U.S. skies earlier this year. U.S. intelligence officials have discovered that the balloon used an American internet service provider to communicate. It connected to the U.S.-based company to send and receive communications from China, mostly related to navigation. Based on its own investigation, the company, which is not being named to protect the identity of its sources, has denied that the Chinese balloon used its network. Russia launched 122 missiles and a score of drones against Ukrainian targets today. The attacks killed at least 20 civilians across the country. Ukrainian officials say this is the biggest aerial barrage of the war. They say at least 88 people were injured and an unknown number were buried under rubble during the roughly 18-hour onslaught. The Ukrainian Air Force said it intercepted most of the missiles and drones overnight. Today, we're remembering a Rochester man who was inducted into the Minnesota Music Hall of Fame. That's the familiar sound of taps, played by Gene Iden on trumpet. Iden passed away Sunday at Mayo Clinic St. Mary's Hospital at the age of 93. According to his obituary, Iden started his career as a music teacher in Claremont before going on to teach music for 38 years at Lourdes High School. He also played in local music groups, including the Rochester Symphony Orchestra and Rochester City Band. Iden was inducted into the Minnesota Music Hall of Fame in 2014 and is also a recipient of a Rochester Mayoral Medal of Honor. Each spring and fall, Rochester Mayor Kim Norton encourages people to get out there and get active with the Move with the Mayor Challenge. Now, Rochester's receiving national recognition for taking part in this campaign. Rochester was one of 30 cities that took part in the fitness challenges this year, receiving the highest level of achievement. The Fall Fit Challenge includes completing a Step It Up success roadmap inspired by the U.S. Surgeon General's call to action, promoting walking and walkable communities. Mayor Norton says improving programs and policy around the physical, mental, and overall health of residents here has been a priority since she took office. She says her goal is for America's City for Health to also be America's healthiest city. The difference a pet can make in our quality of life, especially as we age. And if you would like to get a little more organized in the new year, stay tuned. Our Darian Letty went to the experts for some inspiration and some good tips. We'll be right back. It is that time of year where we might be thinking about our 2024 resolutions. Something many of us might be striving for: a little more organization in our homes, tackling those closets or maybe the garage. Luckily, there are people right here in our community ready to help. Our Darian Letty spent some time with a local professional organizer.
A little behind the scenes action here as I am taking you into the anchor closet where a lot of us store our clothes and our suit jackets and all of that. There's been a lot of us coming through and a lot of us here right now, so it's gained a little bit of clutter and it's a little bit disorganized. But we have Sarah here from the Rescued Room to the rescue. She is going to be talking to us today about organizing. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for having me.
Thanks so much for meeting with me. So the Rescued Room, tell me what you guys are and how you got started.
So we are almost 10 years old. We actually started back in April of 2014. We, meaning just me. Mm-hmm. And I really had a heart to help people simplify. And having two young girls at that time, the house was consistently gaining clutter. Toys, clothes, bottles, etc. And I realized pretty quickly that my husband functioned best if there wasn't as much clutter. He was just happier. So I was like, well, I can either take this on as a challenge or become resentful. And I was like, I'm going to take this on as a challenge. And I really embraced the just the foundations of organizing, and decluttering is really at the heart of all of it. And really just choosing to live with like what is most important to our family and getting rid of the rest. And it brought so much freedom.
I love it. And you're based out of Rochester, but you've got some people kind of around the area, correct?
Yes. So we actually have a couple of team members who, live in Iota, but we've been all around. We've serviced all of Southeast Minnesota practically, just helping people in the spaces that are harassing them.
So why would you recommend someone to do some organizing, do some decluttering? How can it benefit just kind of your overall life?
Which part? It benefits every part of your life, because if you think about it, clutter is ultimately a outward manifestation of inward, probably indecision, if you want to call it. So I would say one of the best ways that organizing helps people is it just creates a sense of calm and focus. So it's hugely important if you find that you're constantly jumping tracks in your lane of your brain, that you're not getting things done. You find like you're moving all day, but you're just not getting things done. It's probably because you've got a lot of mental clutter, which is then going to breed outward clutter.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing this with me. We're actually going to be hanging out, and we are going to take a look at this closet because we've got some areas we may need to cover here, but I'm happy you're here to help me. Thank you so much.
Sounds good. Thanks, Darian.
We're going to get to work. When you guys come back to this closet, you're not going to recognize it. That's all I'm saying. So I'll send it back to you guys.
That closet's a challenge. Thank you, Darian. Having a four-legged friend may slow the rate of cognitive decline among older adults who live alone, and that's according to a new study published earlier this week. Researchers from China looked at data from nearly 8,000 people who were 50 or older. They found pet ownership was associated with slower rates of decline in verbal cognition, verbal memory, and fluency in those who lived alone, and that's compared with those who lived alone without a pet. However, the study did not observe this association in those who lived with other people. Previous studies have suggested there may be a link between living alone and an increase in anxiety and depression, which can increase the risk of developing dementia. Let's talk more about the weekend now. Here's David Burgett.
And we're tracking a little bit of some cloud coverage on the radar right now, but what about for this holiday weekend? We have a cold front that's incoming, so I'll let you know about our snow chances as we get into the holiday weekend, but here's your market day outlooks.
Miss Park.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist David Burgett.
David was just sharing with me his New Year's plans, which include being right here. But I guess the good thing is working this holiday, there's not a lot of serious storm systems that you're going to be watching.
Correct. There's not a lot. We just have one cold front that's going to make its way through our region really on Saturday. So that could bring us a chance for some snow, which we'll get to in a second. But if you have New Year's plans, you're getting a jump start on them right now. We're seeing some sunshine actually and some blue skies peek through those overcast stratus clouds right now across Rochester downtown on Broadway Avenue, but we're seeing temperatures a little bit cooler into the 30s at the moment, and our feels like temperature from the wind out of the northwest at 9 miles per hour is making it feel 8 degrees cooler at 22 degrees out there. Temperatures around the region are going to be into the upper 20s if you're in Dodge Center, but in Zimbrota there also, but we all are going to be seeing temperatures into the mid to lower 30s across the region. Winds are relatively calm out of the northwest today, except for 12 miles per hour there and 13 in Preston and 12 miles per hour in Winona there. But we are going to be seeing a lot of that cloud coverage still lingering around across Olmsted County, Wabasha, and then even into Goodhue County and down into past the I-90 corridor there. So all this should be sticking with us a little bit through this afternoon. We could see a little bit more clearing in terms of that cloud coverage in the forecast to make us warm up a little bit in terms of our high temperature for today. But we are tracking this low pressure system way into Canada that's going to be making its way slowly into our region through tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. That could bring us a chance for some snow. But for today, we are going to be seeing some decreasing cloud coverage unless those clouds start to really stick around more. There's a small chance they might do that. As we get into this weekend, we'll see our snow chance arrive on Saturday, potentially afternoon into the evening hours. But by the time we get to next week, the start of our new year here in 2024, we're going to be quiet and still above average, but mild in terms of those high temperatures. So tracking this out for you this afternoon, we are going to be seeing temperatures potentially a little bit cooler than this into the lower 30s. I think this model's over projecting. By tonight, we'll be into the lower 30s still, have winds out of the northwest. We get some cloud coverage coming in through the region and temperatures into the upper 20s here in Rochester. More cloud coverage builds in for tomorrow morning as this new front approaches. And by the time we get into tomorrow night, we're really going to see a lot of this snowfall start to develop here along the I-35 and parts of I-90 for more straight isolated conditions for us. So I'm anticipating any snowfall that's going to accumulate to be probably less than an inch, maybe less than half an inch across the region. So I think more of it might accumulate along Mississippi River counties. But as we get into the new year, we'll be above average in terms of our temperatures according to the Climate Prediction Center. So we're looking at more mild temperatures ahead. But before we get to there, we are going to be seeing temperatures into the 30s today, mid 30s. And while we get some more partly cloudy skies for tonight, but mostly cloudy skies built in for tomorrow and winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So slightly breezy through tomorrow as that front approaches. So we are going to be clearing out as we get to the new year here on Monday, but we are going to be seeing some more sunshine into this new year. So I think that's the more positive part here. And so New Year's on Monday, not Tuesday.
And well, we'll keep celebrating it.
Yeah, keep celebrating.
Into the new year, and hopefully that sun will mean good things for the months and the year to come.
Yeah, sunshine's always a good thing.
It absolutely is. It can make such a difference. Thank you, David. We are enjoying a mild start to winter, but with several cold months still to come, our moment of science is all about what cooler temps mean for our car tires. We'll be right back. When the temp starts dropping, the dashboard can start dinging. Learn just how air temperature affects your tire pressure in our moment of science.
If you're like me in my car, that low tire pressure light kicks in right about the time the first cold snap of the season hits, but chances are you don't have to worry about a leak. In this week's Moment of Science, we're taking a look at how air temperature affects rubber meeting the road. We're going to start with some math, so stay with me here. This is the ideal gas law, and it says that when you multiply the pressure of a container by its volume, it's equal to how many molecules of stuff there are in that gas times the temperature times a constant figure, which we won't really get into. The P and T are the main focus here, and if everything else stays the same, lowering the temperature lowers the pressure, and vice versa. Now, tire pressure varies by type and manufacturer. There's no real universal standard to keep inflated, but for every 10-degree change in temperature, there's about a 1 to 2 pound per square inch change in pressure. That means that old man winter dropping temps from 40 to 0 lowers your tire pressure by 4 to 8 psi, and bing goes the dashboard. Okay, if your dash looks like this, you should probably pull over. The reverse is true in the spring, so don't go the other way and overinflate. A warm spell can lead to higher pressure and a thinner contact point on the highway, even blowouts if you're not careful. While flatter tires do technically make more contact with the road, there are some who take that to mean intentionally letting out air will help gain traction in the snow. That little trick is actually useful for some off-roading situations, and there are certain tires made for it, but as a regular commuter in the wintertime, you'll want that tire to be properly inflated, so it digs right past the snow layer and catches better friction on the pavement beneath. Of course, you should always check those tires regularly. Don't just wait for the light to pop on or the tread to wear down, but if you really want to stay on top of things, you can always buy a little air compressor to keep in your car and plug right up at the front, or maybe just a roll of quarters to go fill up at the gas station. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Dan Smith.
All that snow we're not seeing around here yet. We'll stay tuned for that, I guess. Here's Howard with what he's up to in the kitchen.
If you love stuffed mushrooms and pepperoni pizza, then you'll love what we're making today. And it's perfect for New Year. With New Year's Eve just days away, we've got a fun twist on stuffed mushrooms where we add everything we love about our favorite pizza, including the pepperoni and the ooey gooey cheese. And yes, it's very easy. We start by separating the stems and caps from about a pound of mushrooms, and we chop the stems. We found the best way to do this is with one of those inexpensive hand choppers that we can find almost everywhere. Okay, we saute the chopped stems in some melted butter, and once they cook down a bit, we take them off the heat and add in some breadcrumbs, chopped pepperoni slices, a few seasonings, and some pizza sauce, and give it a good stir. We spoon the mixture into the caps using a teaspoon, like this. We want to make sure they're filled nice and high. These can even be made ahead of time and baked right before serving them. A little mozzarella gets melted on top, and they're done. With every bite, we get all the things we love about pepperoni pizza in the form of stuffed mushrooms. To get the recipe, all you need to do is go to our website and look for pepperoni pizza stuffed mushrooms. This way you'll have it on hand in time for New Year's or whenever you want something crazy good. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a pizzalicious way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
That would be right up my alley. But David, I've learned about you that a little mushroom can go a long way.
Yeah, so typically not what I like to eat are mushrooms, so, but sometimes they could add a good flavor to the dish, so.
That's okay. I'll eat your mushrooms, and you can have the filling part. We can split it.
We can split it. Okay, that's a deal. We'll do
It's
that
nice
then.
and bright out there on the weather patio. We got to get you some shades.
I know, I left my shades in Ohio when I went home for Thanksgiving, but we are seeing some clearing in the sky right now to make for some sunshine here on the weather patio. We are seeing some clearing downtown, and I believe a little bit in Lake City at the moment. So we're still seeing a little bit of overcast skies move on out of the region, keeping our temperatures into the upper 20s if you're in Dodge Center in Zumbrota, but into the mid to lower 30s everywhere else across our viewing area. And our wind speeds are out of the northwest, keeping our temperatures our feels like temperature is a little bit cooler than the actual temperatures here, but we are seeing some wind speeds peak at 13 miles per hour there in Preston and 12 in Winona. We are going to be seeing all that cloud coverage slowly start to dissipate throughout the region for some more mostly cloudy skies right now in Rochester and Olmsted County, but we'll see a little bit more clearing from more partly cloudy to mostly sunny skies potentially for today. We are going to be watching a cold front that's going to come through our region into Saturday, potentially bringing us the chance for some snow when our next system moves in before some more mild sunshine returns for the start of the new year. So I'm breaking down with the details on that new system coming through our area for the start of your holiday weekend coming up in just a few.
Okay. Thank you, David. We'll see you soon. Fewer people are drinking beer. We're going to look at the reasons why that is just ahead. First, a look at one of the stories you can see just after us on Investigate TV Plus.
Next time on Investigate TV Plus, millions of Americans struggle to read the ballot on Election Day.
I just poured out my story because I was desperate.
We'll show you the steps being taken to help low literacy voters before they head to the polls.
A few weeks after some applesauce pouches were recalled, we're learning more about the number of illnesses the lead-tainted products may have caused. Here's our Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. New information about the FDA investigation into illnesses linked to recalled cinnamon applesauce pouches. An FDA official telling Politico the lead contamination may have been an intentional act and those responsible will be held accountable. Now, the agency found lead levels in cinnamon over 2,000 times higher than the proposed standards in an inspection conducted at a facility in Ecuador. The cinnamon, however, was supplied by another company. The FDA has 82 confirmed reports of illnesses linked to high levels of lead in the pouches. Frozen fish fillets that were sold at Whole Foods Market are being recalled due to an undeclared soy allergen. The recall applies to the 365 Whole Food Market beer battered pollock and cod fillets. The fillets were sold nationwide between September 8th and December 22nd. The company says it has not received any reports of illnesses. And shipments of U.S. beer were projected to hit a 25-year low at the end of 2023. Experts say younger adults are drinking less alcohol overall and favor spirits over beer. Additionally, they say a Bud Light boycott stemming from an Instagram promotion with a transgender advocate had a significant impact on the domestic beer industry. But despite declining shipments, dollar sales of beer have risen. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or anytime at agweb.com.
Here's your first alert weather with meteorologist David Burgett.
Well, we are seeing some clearing of that cloud coverage. We saw more overcast skies this morning, but at CC Heights right now, we're seeing some more blue. And in Rochester, I think we're seeing a little bit more gray there as the cloud coverage really starts to go on by. But blue skies are a good thing. It means that high pressure is a little bit in our region for this afternoon. We are seeing some nice skies now at Lake Pepin, but now we've gone from overcast to mostly cloudy to partly cloudy skies here in Rochester, warming up to the freezing point here. We'll continue to warm up a little bit throughout today to be into the mid to upper 30s for that high temperature, but right now it feels like temperature with that wind in there feels like 24 degrees. So we're seeing kind of a discrepancy there with our feels like temperature. Air temperatures around the region are going to be into the mid to lower 30s across the region, upper 30s if you're in Winona and in La Crosse for us there, so a little bit warmer towards the Mississippi River counties. And as we go through our radar right now, we are going to be seeing that cloud coverage starting to really dissipate here, still holding on a little bit, but we are seeing enough break breakage in that clouds to make way for some more blue skies across Olmsted County and probably across the region too. So that's a good thing. We saw a lot of overcast skies this week, but in the next system we are going to be looking out for this weekend as we get started with the holiday weekend will be this cold front. This low pressure system here in Canada. It's going to come on down through our region and roll through about tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, giving us this stray to isolated chances to see some snowfall within the region. But for today, we are going to be seeing some decreasing clouds throughout this afternoon to make way for more sunshine and some more blue skies. But that snow chance will be here on Saturday before next week as we make our way into the new year. We'll see be more quiet in terms of our weather, but we'll still be more mild and above average for these temperatures. So tracking this out for you this afternoon, we'll have temperatures not necessarily into the upper 30s right now in some places, but more mid 30s. We are going to be seeing some temperatures drop into the lower 30s by 8 o'clock tonight around the region, and we'll start to see more cloud coverage come on through according to this model run into tomorrow morning at 4:30. So earlier, if you're getting early start to your holiday weekend, you'll see temperatures into the 20s. Now, as we get going through Saturday afternoon, we won't see much on the radar right now besides cloud coverage and winds coming out of the northwest for us. But as we go through the afternoon around 3, probably starting around 3 into the later evening hours, we'll start to see more snowfall across the region according to this model. So we'll see more isolated chances of snowfall there along I-35 around 12:30 on Sunday night, and we'll also be seeing around I-90 and all across northeast Iowa for some straight isolated chances for some snowfall. So in terms of how much we're going to get accumulation, I think anything less than an inch across much of the region. I think we might see a little bit more of a dusting here into the Mississippi counties for us right now, a little bit more in terms of that accumulation for us here. And as we head into the new year, we'll see temperatures that are going to be above average, about 6 to 8 degrees here through the weekend. On New Year's Day, we'll see temperatures around the freezing point here in Rochester before we get to more almost seasonal temperatures by Wednesday and Thursday this coming week. So as we go through today, we are going to be seeing some decreasing cloud coverage, temperatures into the lower 30s here across the region by the time we get to tonight. But for tomorrow, we'll see more cloudy skies build back in with winds out of the northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Now, as we go through the new year, we are going to have more sunshine in the forecast, and I think that's a good thing. I think sometimes we need to bust out the shades, even though it's still winter time here, right, Jess?
Yeah, bring on the sun. It makes every day a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit better, a little bit brighter.
Thank you, David. The period between Christmas and New Year's means one thing in Rochester, it's tournament time. So we're going to look ahead at some of the big games that are about to get underway today. That's next. Let the puck drop. It is another big day of holiday tournament action in Rochester, with some games getting underway shortly. Our Julian Mitchell tells us all about it and shares a little news about his own future.
As the Kiwanis Hockey Festival is set to come to a close today, Gold and Blue Division titles on the line. Here's where things stand in the Gold Division first. Dodge County faces Fargo South Shanley to wrap up play at 2 p.m. Then Mayo and East Ridge square off at 4:15. Lastly, this one's for the division title. Century John Marshall against Egan at 6:30. A Rochester school has won in this division in the last 5 festivals. What will happen here? In the Blue Division, Albert Lee and Wyndham kick off day 3 at 1:15 p.m. Then the games get really interesting. Both Laverne and La Crescent are in the same pool and have 4 points, meaning as Laverne faces Austin and La Crescent takes on Lourdes, if one of them loses, the other is division champ. If both win, then it goes down to a tiebreaker based on goal differential. Good for the Lancers. The team has only allowed 1 goal so far. Laverne Austin's at 3:30, while La Crescent plays at 5:45. Should be a very fun day 3. Well, friends, as I'm sure most of you know, this is the end for me here at KTTC, my last day. It's been an honor to work here, and I just feel really grateful to all of you who have let me into your homes every day for the last 3 years. A big thank you to all the coaches, athletes, teams, and communities for letting me share your stories, and honestly, for some of my favorite memories. I mean, I'll never forget the state tournaments, the section tournaments at Mayo Civic Arena, and every game across southeast Minnesota and northern Iowa. It's not goodbye, it's just see you later. So for one last time, that is a look at sports. It's a good day. Have a great day.
Oh, it sure is, Julian, and thank you so much for everything. We're going to miss you. Speaking of change, people around the world are preparing to say goodbye to 2023 and celebrate the start of a new year. New Year's Eve is often a busy night, and in Eau Claire, law enforcement are sharing some tips on how to stay safe while still having some fun. Staff with Eau Claire Police say the call volume often increases on the holiday, as does the presence and amount of law enforcement out patrolling.
It's been said many times before, but it can't be said enough. Don't drink and drive. If you plan on drinking this weekend, have a plan ahead of time. Designate a driver, utilize a rideshare service or a taxi.
Law enforcement say they often get calls for traffic complaints for people who are possibly intoxicated, along with calls for fireworks or loud and disorderly parties. A reminder, we're just 2 weeks away from the 70th annual KTTC Eagles Cancer Telethon. All money raised is going to stay right here in Minnesota, so we hope you will join us on January 13th and 14th as we raise hope and awareness for cancer research. Practice makes perfect. The experts are making sure the confetti is ready for the big show in New York City Sunday night. First, we are just minutes away from Investigate TV Plus, and here's a look at another story you can see shortly.
Today on Investigate TV Plus, millions of Americans struggle to read at a basic level, and we uncover it's impacting elections.
We speak with the women working to protect a constitutional right and explore the options available for voters who have had a hard time understanding the ballot.
The annual confetti test in Times Square took place this morning. With the New Year's Eve ball drop just 2 days away, organizers are making sure every detail will fall into place. Looks like it's going pretty good so far. The annual confetti test is part of the rehearsal to be sure everything for the iconic celebration in Times Square is set. According to the Vice President of Events for all the Times Square Alliance, they're making sure the confetti is going to work on the 31st. This year, according to Gary Winkler, New York's crowds there in Times Square are expected to be back to pre-pandemic levels. So lots and lots of people, and we'll see those sunglasses that say 2024 on them. I always get a kick out of those.
Yeah, I mean, I remember back watching New Year's Eve at my aunt's house. Every year we bang pots and pans on the back porch to celebrate the new year. So never been in New York City though for that.
Yeah, maybe something to consider. I was there for the Millennium. That was a while ago. Now it's more like play the countdown whenever you get tired. Bring up the Netflix countdown or whatever. Okay, it's 9:38. Let's count down.
Yeah, let's get on with the new year. But if you're going to be getting a jump start in the holiday weekend, we'll see some decreasing clouds for this afternoon. Temperatures in the mid to high 30s for today. Tomorrow we'll see some mostly cloudy to cloudy skies, potentially snow starting for more stray chances into the ice, for more isolated but from the evening hours and the nighttime hours for Saturday. But through this new year, we're going to see more temperatures that will be more mild and sunny.
Thank you, David. We hope you have a wonderful New Year's Eve weekend. Stay safe, and we'll see you in 2024.